Right now, someone you know is rewriting your reality, and you have no idea it's happening. They've studied your hesitations, cataloged your fears, and mapped every emotional trigger you possess. While you think you're having a normal conversation, they're running a silent algorithm in their mind. Weakness detected, exploit identified, deployment initiated. By the time that nagging feeling in your gut screams, something's wrong, they've already convinced you the problem is you. This isn't paranoia. This is the calculated playbook of psychological manipulators. People who've turned human connection into a strategic game you didn't know you were playing. And in 2026, with AI-powered deception and digital surveillance at their fingertips, they're more dangerous than ever. Today, we're exposing exactly how manipulators think, what they're hunting for in you, and the specific tactics they use to hijack your psychology. If you find this valuable, smash that like button and subscribe, because recognizing these patterns might be the most important skill you'll ever develop. Let's dive in. The Manipulator's Blueprint. Here's what makes manipulators genuinely terrifying. They possess cognitive empathy without emotional empathy. Translation? They read you like a book, catching that flicker of uncertainty in your eyes, that slight voice tremor when you're unsure. But they feel nothing. Your pain is just data. Your joy is just leverage. They're fluent in human emotion, the way you might be fluent in Spanish. It's learned behavior, not authentic experience. This is why they seem so understanding while simultaneously plotting against you. Research points to the Dark Triad: Machiavellianism, strategic ruthlessness; narcissism, insatiable need for control; and psychopathy, zero remorse. Combined, these create someone who strategizes like a chess master, craves dominance like an addict, and operates without moral breaks. And they'll never accept accountability. In their mental movie, they're always the hero, which means you're always the problem. Your vulnerabilities, what they're hunting. Manipulators are vulnerability architects. They're scanning for cracks in your psychological foundation. And here's what they target first. Emotional triggers. Accuse you of being selfish, and suddenly you're overcompensating. Suggest you're not working hard enough and you're staying late to prove yourself. They identify these buttons, then press them strategically. Need for approval. If you light up at praise or feel uncomfortable with conflict, you're radiating vulnerability. They'll offer conditional love, affection with strings attached that can be yanked away the moment you don't comply. Weak boundaries. Can't say no. Always available? Congratulations, you've laid out the welcome mat. Manipulators flow like water into any available space. They also exploit cognitive biases with surgical precision. They'll offer unsolicited favors to trigger reciprocity, now you owe them. Position themselves as unquestionable authorities, or use social proof. Everyone else is doing it. Most vulnerable? People in crisis. Grieving, isolated, or emotionally fragile individuals have heightened needs and reduced defenses. Exactly when manipulators position themselves as the answer to your pain. The manipulation playbook. Gaslighting is their nuclear weapon. They deny your memories, contradict your reality, and trivialize your feelings until you stop trusting yourself. It starts small, denying they said something you clearly heard, then escalates until you depend on them to tell you what's real. Love bombing floods you with intense affection to bypass natural caution and create rapid dependency. Once you're hooked, they withdraw it as punishment, creating panic and desperation to return to those euphoric early days. Triangulation brings third parties into your dynamic, mentioning exes to trigger insecurity, comparing you unfavorably to others, or playing people against each other to keep everyone competing for approval. Playing the victim weaponizes compassion. No matter what they've done, they'll reframe themselves as the injured party, focusing on how your reaction hurt them, while their original offense disappears from view. The silent treatment exploits your need for resolution. You're left in emotional limbo. You don't know what you did, can't defend yourself, and can't fix it. That's the point. They're training you to fear their disapproval. Manipulation in 2026. Technology has supercharged these tactics. AI now creates personalized phishing attacks that reference your actual interests and connections. Smart home devices become surveillance tools. Phone tracking apps become digital leashes. And AI-powered bots spread coordinated misinformation at scales individual manipulators could never achieve. Building immunity. Protection starts with trust. Trust your gut. That uncomfortable feeling exists for a reason. Then establish boundaries and enforce them ruthlessly. Keep trusted friends who will give honest reality checks. Slow down when pressured to decide immediately. Any legitimate offer can wait. And keep educating yourself on manipulation tactics. The truth. Manipulation only works when you don't recognize it. The moment you understand the game, you stop being a player and become someone who walks away from the table entirely. Your empathy, fairness, and trust aren't weaknesses. They're what make human connection possible. The problem isn't having vulnerabilities. It's encountering people who exploit them without conscience. Stay informed. Maintain boundaries. Trust your instincts. Keep genuine people close. Build a life where manipulators find no foothold. Not because you've become cynical, but because you've become unshakable. Your reality is valid. Your boundaries matter. And you deserve relationships built on respect, not exploitation. Stay safe out there.